Since the dawn of civilization, humans have categorized the living things around them. Sorting life was a matter of basic survival, knowing which organisms provided food, which offered shelter, and which provided clothing. Aristotle made the earliest attempt at a scientific classification. He used simple morphological characters, grouping plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs, while dividing animals into those with red blood and those without. By the time of Linnaeus, this had evolved into a strict two-kingdom system. It neatly divided the entire world into two categories, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. For centuries, this binary approach was the standard. It was easy to understand and effectively organized the macroscopic plants and animals that humans interacted with daily. However, this system relied entirely on what could be seen with the naked eye. It assumed that all life would eventually fit into one of those two boxes, leaving the entire system vulnerable to the next leap in technology. Technological progress eventually revealed a hidden microscopic world that broke the existing rules of classification. First, there was the problem of fungi. They grow from the ground like plants, but they lack chlorophyll. Instead of photosynthesizing, they survive by absorbing organic matter from dead substrates. Then came the microbe problem. High-powered lenses showed that simple, nucleus-free prokaryotes were being lumped together with complex, single-celled eukaryotes. These misfits proved that the binary map of life was inaccurate. The discovery of organisms that didn't fit either category forced a complete redesign of the system. In 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed a radical new structure. He abandoned the two traditional buckets in favor of a five-kingdom system. This diagram shows the matrix Whittaker used to define life, looking at cell structure, body organization, and specific modes of nutrition. By charting life against these variables, scientists could finally categorize organisms based on their internal biological machinery rather than just outward shape. Whittaker defined Kingdom Monera as the exclusive domain of bacteria. These are prokaryotic organisms that lack a defined nuclear membrane. Bacteria are grouped into four categories based on shape: spherical cocci, rod-shaped bacillus, comma-shaped vibrio, and spiral spirillum. Despite simple structures, Monera show metabolic diversity, acting as autotrophic cyanobacteria or heterotrophic parasites in extreme environments. Whittaker then established Kingdom Protista as a bridge for single-celled eukaryotes, complex organisms with defined nuclei that often defied standard categorization. The euglena is a prime example of this complexity. In sunlight, it uses chlorophyll to act like a plant, but in the dark, it becomes a predator that hunts other small organisms for food. The five-kingdom system also provided the official separation of fungi from the plant kingdom. At the molecular level, the difference is clear. While green plants possess a cellulosic cell wall, fungi have cell walls composed of chitin and polysaccharides. Fungi also exhibit a unique saprophytic nutrition style. Their bodies consist of long, thread-like structures called hyphae, which they use to absorb soluble organic matter from decaying substrates. Dedicating specific kingdoms to fungi, protists, monera, plants, and animals provided a framework acknowledging the full range of cellular and metabolic diversity in nature. The ultimate success of Whittaker's system was that it didn't just organize life, it mapped the phylogenetic or evolutionary relationships between organisms. This framework demonstrated that organisms with similar outward appearances can exist on entirely separate branches of the evolutionary tree. Biological classification remains a work in progress. Modern research is already shifting toward even more complex three-domain and six-kingdom systems as our understanding of genetics improves. Mapping all these relationships reveals the specific, shifting connections that place humanity within an infinite and interconnected biosphere.